Hello everyone, I hope you all are fit and fine. In this video, we are going to learn our next lesson from the textbook First Flight. The name of the lesson is Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, and the writer of the lesson is Nelson Mandela himself. Before we start the lesson, let me tell you something about this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to talk about Nelson Mandela. I know that you everybody know about him very well. As we know very well that Gandhiji had fight a lot to get freedom for the country India. Likewise, Nelson Mandela had fought for his country South Africa to get the freedom from the apartheid. What is apartheid? Apartheid means a particular community or particular color or race governs the country is known as the apartheid. Let's start now the lesson. Before you read this chapter, let's think about these questions. The first one is, apartheid is a political system that separates people according to their race. Race means according to their color of the skin. Can you say which of the three countries named below had such a political system until very recently? Yes, of course, you know very well about this. The name of the country is South Africa. The second one is, have you heard of Nelson Mandela? Mandela and his African National Congress spent a lifetime fighting against apartheid. Mandela had to spend 30 years in prison. Finally, democratic elections were held in South Africa in 1994, and Mandela became the first black president of a new nation. Okay, so we got the information about him. In 1994, he elected as the president of the nation. The name of the nation is South Africa, and he was the first black president of the country. And he spent 30 years in prison. It means वो 30 years तक जेल में रहे थे to get the freedom. In this extract from his autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela speaks about a historic occasion, the inauguration. Can you guess what the occasion might be? Check your guess with this news item from the BBC of 10th May 1994. Okay, as we already seen that in 1994 he was elected as the president of the country, and in the same year on 10th May 1994 the BBC News published an article. Let's see that article. Mandela becomes South Africa's first black president. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. It means the South Africa was ruled by white people around 300 years. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. So it was the first democratic elections in South Africa. Before that, there was no any election. The next paragraph is, the inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria today, attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. Okay, so in that inauguration function, there were 140 countries and the dignitaries, their politicians participated. Never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another, said Nelson Mandela in his address. Okay, in his speech, he has said that this kind of occasion will never arrive in the country. Maybe. Jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony with blacks, whites, and coloreds celebrating together. Okay, coloreds means white and black both together, combination of white and black. That is known as coloreds. More than 1 lakh South African men, women, and children of all races sang and danced with joy. Okay, because they got the democracy. Okay, they got the freedom. That's why they all were happy and with joy they danced and sang like that. Now let's see ahead. Here one activity is given. You can do that activity by your own. In column A are some expressions you will find in the text. Make a guess and match each expression with an appropriate meaning from column B. Okay, so in A part, some expressions are given and the meaning is given in B part. You have to find out from the text from the chapter and you have to do this. Now let's go ahead. Let's start the chapter. 10th May, dawned bright and clear. Dawn means started with brightness and clearness. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respects before the inauguration. Okay, the meaning of the besieged by means to be surrounded or closely by. Okay, from the past few days before this inauguration, he was surrounded by the many dignitaries and the politicians. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever of international leaders on South African soil. Okay, it was the first occasion when these many people are going to gather on the South African soil. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. What is the meaning of amphitheater? The meaning is given: a building without a roof with many rows of seats rising steps, typical of ancient Greece and Rome. Okay, it's like kind of a theater where the roof is not there, open theater. Roof is not there and the chairs are arranged in a rising steps. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of a rainbow gathering of different colors and nations for the installation of South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. Okay, for decades, for many years, here only the white people were gathering, but now the first time it was looking like a rainbow because the different colors, different nations people were gathered for the installation of first democratic non-racial government. On that lovely autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Zanani. On the podium, Mr. De Klerk was first sworn in as second deputy president. Okay, he was the president and Mr. De Klerk was the second deputy president. You have to remember these two names. First, you can be asked what is the name of his daughter. The name of the daughter is Zenani, and you can be asked the second deputy president of the country. So you have to name it correctly, Mr. De Klerk. Now let's go ahead. Then Thabo Mbeki was sworn in as first deputy president. This name also you have to remember. Thabo Mbeki was the first deputy president of South Africa. When it was my turn, okay, my turn means Nelson Mandela, I pledged to obey and uphold the constitution and to devote myself to the well-being of the republic and its people. To the assembled guests, and the watching world, I said. The same words he was spoken in that togetherness, in that inauguration. The same is given in this paragraph. Now let's start. Today, all of us do, by our presence here, confer glory and hope to newborn liberty. Confer means here give. Okay, give. Here give glory and hope to newborn liberty. Liberty means freedom. Out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. Okay, for many years there was the differentiate, okay, between white and black, but now that is over. It was born for the new society. Now let's go ahead. We who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nations of the world on our own soil. Okay, now they are hosting their freedom on their own country after so many years. Next, we thank all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of our country of what is, after all, a common victory for justice, for peace, for human dignity. Here in this paragraph, Nelson Mandela is telling that this is not the victory for South Africa only. It is the victory for the whole world. Victory for the justice, victory for the peace, and for human dignity. We have at last achieved our political emancipation. Emancipation means freedom from restriction. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination. Deprivation means state of not having one's rightful benefits. Okay, as we all know very well about the South African people before the independence, before the freedom, the black people were not allowed to walk freely, talk freely. Okay, they were deprived of all rights, and now they got the freedom. They have all rights as white people were having. Let's go ahead. Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Nelson Mandela in his speech was telling that, and he was telling in his confidence that this kind of system, apartheid, will never ever will happen again. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa. And at last, he blessed the South Africa, the people of South Africa. Let's see the oral comprehension check. The first question is, where did the ceremonies take place? Can you name any public buildings in India that are made of sandstone? So you have to find out. You can use the Google and you have to write the answer in your notebook. The second one is, can you say how 10th May is an autumn day in South Africa? Here, in two ways, the answer can be given. First, 10th May, it was a time of autumn season. That's why it was given, or it was said as autumn day. And the another is, now the black people were born, or the freedom was given. The apartheid system was destroyed, and instead of that, the freedom was given to black people. That's why it was an autumn day. Autumn किसे कहा जाता है? जब पुराने पत्ते गिर जाते हैं और नए पत्ते आते हैं. तो यहाँ पर व्हाइट पीपल का जो रूल था वो गिर गया है, खत्म हो गया है, और नए पत्ते के रूप में जो ब्लैक पीपल है उनका फ्रीडम, उनको फ्रीडम मिला है, इसलिए उसे ऑटम डे कहा गया है. लेट्स गो अहेड. The third one is, at the beginning of his speech, Mandela mentions an extraordinary human disaster. What does he mean by this? What is the glorious human achievement he speaks of at the end? Human disaster, an extraordinary human disaster, because the people or the human were not treated as humans. That's why it's a human disaster. And at last he was talking about glorious human achievement, because now humans were getting their freedom. Okay, humans were treated as humans. That's why it was a glorious human achievement. Okay, you can write in detail. The fourth one is, what does Mandela thank the international leaders for? Because they were gathered there and participated in their celebration. Okay, and that was not only South Africa's victory, but it was the victory of whole or every country. Fifth one, what ideals does he set out for the future of South Africa? Okay, so that also from the last paragraph you can give the answer. Now let's go ahead. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters, and troop carriers roared in perfect formation over the Union buildings. Okay, after finishing of his speech, there was a spectacular array means an impressive display of the jet planes, helicopters, and troop carriers. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of the military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Okay, that was not only the demonstration, but it was the tribute, or it was given their surrender to the newly appointed government or the President Nelson Mandela. Only moments before, the highest general of the South African Defence Force and police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. Okay, the highest rank of the defense and the police, or the chief person of the South African defense, he had saluted to the person or to the president of the country, name is Nelson Mandela. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Okay, he reminded the same thing. The same person were arrested him before 30 years, and now the same person was saluting him. Finally, a chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue, and gold of the new South African flag. Okay, chevron means a pattern in the shape of a V. In V shape, he had flown this all colors. Now let's go ahead in the next paragraph. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthems. On that day, there were two national anthems were played, and the vision of whites singing. The white people have sung "Soy Sikele Africa," and black singing "Die Stem," the old anthem of the Republic. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem, they once despised means had a very low opinion of. Okay, the first time that song was sung, so that's why they were not know the lyrics very well, and even they have very low opinion for that song. That's why it was not sung good. They would soon know the words by heart. But Nelson Mandela was telling that very soon they will know the song properly. Now let's go ahead in the next paragraph. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned peoples of their own land. Okay, in the beginning of the 20th century, it was started very badly that the white was ruling on black people, domination on black people. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman societies the world has ever known. Okay, and the structure they have made, who the white people, that was very bad. It was like an inhuman, which is against of humans. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century and my own eighth decade as a man, okay, eighth decade means he was in 80s. At that time, that system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedoms of all peoples regardless the color of their skin. And when he was in his 80s, and at the end of the 20th century, the African people got the freedom, and now the system was replaced by the system or the freedom of all peoples regardless of the colors of their skin, whether they are white or black, all were getting the same rights. Now let's go in the next paragraph. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people, people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. Okay, now Nelson Mandela was remembering his people who have given their life to get this freedom, and he was telling that the sacrifice cannot be repaid. I felt that day, as I have owned so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. Gone before me means died before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what the sacrifices had wrought. Wrought means fastened. Now here Nelson Mandela was telling that the people who had given the sacrifice, their life, sacrificed their life, to them he was not able to thank. That's why he was feeling guilty, as well as he was even pained that those people were not able to see what the sacrifice had achieved. Now let's go ahead in the next paragraph. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. Okay, the apartheid policy had created a deep pain in all people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. And Nelson Mandela was telling that for getting out of this hurt, it will take many years or maybe generations. But the decades of operations and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulu's, the Chief Luthulus, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Subukivs of our time. Okay, but Nelson Mandela was telling that because of that pain only, the country got these very most important freedom fighters for the country, and that's why only they got the freedom, because of those people, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity that their may never be known again. Okay, and because of that system only, these kinds of people were born in the country and fought for the country, and country got this kind of people. In the last page, the 6 pictures are given, the 6 images. These are the people mentioned in the last paragraph. You can see those pictures. Now let's go ahead. Perhaps it requires such depths of operation to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I've always known that its greatest wealth is its people. Nelson Mandela was telling that in his speech that country, South Africa, is rich in the minerals and gems which is lie beneath the soil, but it was richer than that because of its people who were living, who have given their life for the country. Let's go ahead. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Okay, now in this, Nelson Mandela was telling that from these people only he was understood the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Okay, and he understood because of an idea or because of an intention, people were ready to give their life for the country or for any reason. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. Okay, and he was telling that how the people were struggled. Okay, they were attacked by the police brutally. Then also they were stand like a fighter. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. He was telling that what is meant by courage? Not the absence of fear, but victory on the fear. That is the courage. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Okay, he was defying the brave man. The brave man is not that person who does not afraid, but the person who get the victory over it. That person is the brave man. Now let's go ahead. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Okay, in this, Nelson Mandela was telling that no one is born hating another person. जब भी कोई पैदा होता है तब किसी को वो नफरत नहीं करता, पर उसे वो सिखाया जाता है. एंड इन अनदर सेंटेंस ही वाज टेलिंग दैट अगर वो लोग नफरत करना सिखा सकते हैं तो उनको प्यार करना भी सिखाया जा सकता है, क्योंकि प्यार करना सिखाना बहुत ही आसान है, क्योंकि वो नेचुरली ही ह्यूमन हार्ट में पहले से होता ही है. इवन इन द ग्रीमेस्ट times in prison, when he was in prison and it was the bad time for him, when my comrades and I were pushed over limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards, perhaps just for a second. Okay, and he was a member of a guard, one policeman. He tried to help Nelson Mandela when they were tortured very badly in the jail. But it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Man's goodness, here in this last line he is telling that मनुष्य की जो goodness है, उसकी जो flame है, that cannot be hidden, उसको कभी भी उसको छुपाया जा सकता है पर उसे कभी मिटाया नहीं जा सकता. Now let's go ahead. Oral comprehension check questions. The 5 questions are given. The answers are given in these last paragraphs. You have to find out and you have to write in your notebook. Now let's go ahead. In life, every man has twin obligations. Okay, it means that सभी को जब भी मनुष्य पैदा होता है तभी से उसको दो जवाबदारी, दो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होती है. द फर्स्ट ऑब्लिगेशन टू हिज फैमिली, टू हिज पेरेंट्स, to his wife and children, and he has an obligation to his people, his community, his country. These are the two obligations, first for the family and another for the nation. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. Inclination means natural tendencies. Okay, by his natural tendencies, he will be able to fulfill their obligations. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. But Nelson Mandela was telling that before this independence, for the black people, it was not at all possible to fulfill these two obligations. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as human being was punished and isolated. He was telling that if a black people was trying to live like a human being, then he was punished and isolated by the white people. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. Okay, now he was telling that if any South African people tried to fulfill the needs of their people, then he was isolated or he was treated very badly or harshly, and he was known as the rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. Okay, first he was not at all was trying to fulfill the needs of his people, but then he was realized that he has to do that. Now let's go ahead. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast maize under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. Okay, he was in a good family and he was able to afford this all things. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. Okay, till he was obeying his parents or father, till that he was not at all troubled by any people. But afterwards, let's see in the next paragraph, it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. Okay, वो कब तक रहा? जब तक उसका चाइल्डहुड फिनिश होता है. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. Okay, now his freedom was taken out from him and now he had started to get it back. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself, the transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. Okay, first, when he was a student, at that time he was thinking that freedom for himself only, to go out night time, to read whatever he wants to read. This kind of freedom he wanted to get it. But afterwards, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. Then, not for himself, for his family, to whom he should marry, or everything, for everything, he wanted to get the freedom. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed. Curtailed means reduced, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. Okay, when he looked to the society, at that time he was realized that not only him but the whole society or the whole country was not getting the freedom. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. Then he started to get the freedom from the country. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. Now, when he started to fight against this system, he became a criminal. Okay, he was separated from his family. He was separated from the society. He was put into the jail. And now he was living like a monk. Monk means sadhu. I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Okay, now what he was telling, that he was not ready to get the freedom if he only will get the freedom. He wanted the freedom for all his people. Freedom he is invisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. He was telling that if any of his people or community people is not free, it means he was not free. I knew that the oppression must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Here it means that the oppression means the person who governs get the freedom or the liberation. The same, the oppressed person or the person who is not get the freedom should be getting. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. In this line, Nelson Mandela is telling that the person whoever was trying to get away of anybody's freedom, that person is in jail of hatred. वो नफरत से गिरा हुआ है, and he's the same person locked behind the bars of prejudice. Prejudice means strong dislike without any good reason. Without reason, the person hate the another person, and narrow-mindedness. He was in his own imprison. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. अगर मैं किसी का फ्रीडम छीन लेता हूं, इसका मतलब मैं खुद भी फ्री नहीं हूं. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. In this sentence, Nelson Mandela is telling that the person who is trying to get away the freedom of the person and the persons whose freedom is get away, both are robbed of their humanity. Now let's go ahead. The oral comprehension check questions are given. 3 are given. The first is, what twin obligations does the Mandela mentions? That already we discussed. The second one is, what did being free mean to Mandela as a boy, as a student? How does he contrast this transitory freedoms with the basic and honorable freedom? This also we have already discussed. And the third is, does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why or why not? This also we have discussed in the last paragraph. This also you have to write into notebook. Now let's see the thinking about the text. The 5 questions are given. These 5 questions also you have to write from the reference book in your fair notebook. So here we end this lesson. It is my humble request to everybody, to all students, please read this chapter twice and find out the difficult words, and from dictionary find out the meanings of the same and write into your notebook, as well as read the chapter twice and make short questions even and write in your notebook. I hope you all understood this lesson, and if you have any query, you can contact me on my number 8320060822, 8320060822. Best of luck everyone. Stay home, stay safe. Bye.